The majority of people who purchase homes will use a real estate agent to negotiate the purchase transaction. The decision to hire a real estate agent to represent a buyer is often done without considering the cost or the benefit of being represented by a real estate agent. A prospective buyer of a house is not required to hire a real estate agent in order to purchase a house. The buyer can represent him or herself. In this video, we will consider the cost and the benefits of using a real estate agent to purchase a house. The average cost of a house in the U.S. in 2023 is currently about $430,000. A buyer who uses a real estate agent to purchase a property that costs $430,000 will lead to the buyer's real estate agent being paid 3% of the cost, which is $12,900 as a commission. Granted, the buyer's real estate agent will be paid by the person selling the property and not the buyer. However, the buyer is potentially giving up close to 3% of the contract price that could be used by the buyer towards loan closing costs or a down payment. Buying a house is one of the biggest and most important financial decisions a person will ever make in their life. The culmination of purchasing a first home represents multiple years of dedication, sacrifices, and financial discipline to save a down payment and also enough money to pay for loan closing costs. Purchasing a house is an extremely costly transaction that can easily require a buyer to part ways with at least $25,000 just to become a homeowner. For first-time buyers, the purchase process can be intimidating and may be one of the many reasons why a buyer may use a real estate agent. Although the seller is the one who pays the buyer's agent, any buyer who uses a real estate agent to purchase a house is giving up about $13,000 based on the average cost of a home, which is approximately $430,000 in 2023. If a buyer represents him or herself, then this $13,000 can be used towards other costs such as the down payment or loan closing costs. What does a real estate agent do for a buyer? And does it justify relinquishing $13,000 in order to be represented? What are the benefits of being represented by a real estate agent? A real estate agent will look for houses that meet the buyer's criteria and may have faster access to listings than the general public. The public has online access to real estate, is available for sale, and can easily search for properties that meet the buyer's criteria. The online sites that the general public has access to may not be as complete as what a real estate agent has access to. It may take a while for new listings readily available to a real estate agent to show up. One of the main purposes of hiring a real estate agent in the past was to determine the value of a house. However, most websites now offer this information, although it may vary upon further inspection. A real estate agent will make arrangements to show any property a buyer wants. A buyer not represented by an agent can also schedule a visit by contacting the selling agent. One of the requirements most agents will request to see from a buyer before showing a property is proof of the amount of a loan that the buyer has been pre-approved for. A real estate agent can negotiate an offer for the buyer, and this is helpful, especially in a competitive market where properties are sold very quickly. Most real estate transactions utilize standard real estate contracts that are straightforward and can be found online. The real estate contract typically asks for an offer price, a nominal consideration, $100 to $1,000, to secure the contract, time for inspection, and a closing date. Completing the standard purchase agreement/contract is one of the main reasons buyers will hire an agent for representation. If you are representing yourself, it is in your best interest to offer a price 20 to 10% lower than the contract price. Most listing prices are above what the seller wants, so that the seller can offer a discount that will make the buyer feel good and ultimately make a purchase. The worst thing that could happen to any offer is that the offer will be declined, or you will receive a counteroffer. A completed contract has to be turned in to the seller's agent. The seller's agent will review the contract and will notify the buyer of any missing information. A buyer who is not represented by a real estate agent can hire a real estate attorney to assist with the purchase contract, or the seller's agent will be happy to answer any questions for a buyer since the seller's agent is eager to sell the property. Hiring a real estate attorney to review a purchase agreement will cost at most $1,000. One of the benefits of owning owning a Legal Shield membership is the fact that a membership gives you access to an attorney to review contracts you are considering. A Legal Shield membership costs less than $300 per year and is definitely worth the price. Ultimately, only the prospective buyer can determine whether the representation by a real estate agent is worth giving up 3% of the contract price that the buyer could use towards a down payment or loan closing costs if the buyer did not hire a real estate agent to represent the buyer to purchase a house. Leave your comments below and like and subscribe to our channel so you do not miss any future videos.